We have Juliet and Juliet's father, Capulet. Juliet's father wants her to have an arranged marriage, but Juliet disagrees, and we'll soon find out why.
I found the perfect husband for my daughter, Juliet. He's rich, has a nice family, and is a good man. She has been fine with the marriage up until now, and I don't understand why. Juliet tells me she's too young, but I believe she's a young woman who is eligible to marry. She's being very inconsiderate of my choices since I put all this work into putting together this wedding.
Well, those are some very good reasons, but let's see what Juliet has to say. Juliet Capulet, my daddy wants me to have an arranged marriage to a man I don't even know. I don't even know why he wants me to marry some random person I don't even know. I'm 13. I can do what I want. I can choose who I want to marry. Everyone, please welcome Juliet Capulet. My father believes I should be getting married to a man who I don't even know, nor love. I'm only 13, and he's telling me that I should be making a permanent choice for the rest of my life. Juliet, how do you know you wouldn't love this man? Well, Jerry, that's the thing. I don't know. He can be a very good man, but there's a good chance that we may never get along. He will be in my life forever after I marry him, and I just don't think I'm committed enough for this.
Juliet, you're a young woman. I have watched you grow, and I know what you're like. I know you're ready for this.
It's not fair. I would be marrying him for the money and love would not be the first priority. It becomes the second. And yes, maybe eventually the love will come, but I don't want it to be forced. Juliet, you said maybe the love would come eventually. If you believe that, then why are you worried? I said it's because I don't want it to be forced. I believe that for a good relationship, you have to know the person and be able to care about them. And how is that possible when you're just meeting the person right before they become your husband?
Juliet, I'm your father. You should be trusting me that I found the right man for you. I have known him for a while because he's the son of a very good friend of mine. He has a good job, lots of money, and you'll live a good life with him. I know it.
Capulet, Juliet is a young girl, only 13 years of age. What happens if she meets another man in her life who is better for her than Paris?
That's not going to happen because I believe that Juliet is going to be faithful to this relationship.
I can't be faithful in this relationship with a man I hardly know. If it were someone who I chose myself and really loved, of course I'd be faithful. But you chose Paris, not me. I think there is someone else out there who is much better for me.
Juliet, if there were a better man for you, I would have found him. I am your father. I only want the best for you. You don't understand how much time I put into finding a worthy husband for you. Trust me, Paris will make an excellent husband.
I'm sure he will make an excellent husband to some other young woman, but I am not the right one. I don't love him. Marriage is a big deal, and I should be allowed to marry who and when I want. If you really want the best for me, you would allow me to choose who I want to marry. I deserve to be happy. Ooh. Also, the fact that you would even think to disown me if I didn't marry him.
I don't know what is going on in that little head of hers, but no daughter of mine will disobey my orders.
So it's either she marries Paris and has a great husband, lots of money, a nice house, and everything she could ever possibly want in life, or you kick her out so she has nothing. Juliet, I don't think that's a very hard decision. You're right, Jerry. It's not a hard decision, because I will never marry Paris. Well, Capulet, it seems that Juliet has made up her mind. Juliet, is there anything we can do to change it? Never. My heart may belong to someone else one day, and by marrying Paris, I will be trapped. I just cannot do it.
Juliet, I'm your father. You will do as I say.
You can't make me do anything. I'm 13 now, Father. I can make my own decisions without your help.
Juliet, how dare you speak to me like that? I'm your father, and you are too young to make any decisions like this.
If I'm too young to be making decisions of who I marry, then I'm too young to be getting married at all. Juliet does have a point there, Capulet.
You're talking nonsense, Juliet. What has gotten into you? No daughter of mine will disobey my orders.
Well, I'm your daughter, and I am right now. You say you want the best for me, but if you really did, then you wouldn't be threatening to kick me out of our house and disown me just because I don't agree with who you want me to marry.
Of course I want the best for you, Juliet. I could have chosen some weirdo with no money, but I took the time to find a nice man for you who will give you a great life. Realize everything I've done for you. You're extremely selfish.
Father, I can't believe you would say such a thing about me. I'm your own daughter. I am grateful that you took the time to find a nice man for me. I really am. But he's not the man for me. Why can't you understand that? Don't you want me to be happy?
Juliet, you're so frustrating. I can't deal with you right now.
I can't deal with you either. Well, that got pretty intense. We'll give Capulet and Juliet some time to cool down. In the meantime, we'll bring out the man who Capulet speaks so highly of, the man who Juliet is arranged to marry this Thursday. Here is Paris. Hi Paris, it's nice to meet you. We've all heard great things about you from Capulet.
It's nice to meet you too, Jerry. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Capulet is a very good man.
I'm sure he is, although I'm not sure Juliet would agree.
Well, he did choose me to be her husband, so he clearly has good taste.
You seem like a good man, Paris. How do you feel about the whole arrangement of marriage between you and Juliet?
In my mind, it's a great thing. I don't know her extremely well, however, I know the most important things. Juliet is caring, loving, and absolutely beautiful, and it would be a privilege to marry her.
So you want the marriage to happen?
Well, of course, I could not picture myself with anyone else but the fair Juliet Capulet.
But you say you don't know her that well yet. What if she ends up being the exact opposite of what you thought her to be like?
When I wed her, I will promise to love her through everything. Ups, downs, sickness, health, faults and all. And I intend to keep that promise until the day she or I die.
So you're saying she could end up being completely crazy and you would still love her?
That's exactly what I'm saying, Jerry.
My goodness, if Juliet doesn't want to marry you after hearing all that, then she must be completely crazy.
Well, I sure hope she isn't.
How about we bring Juliet back out to hear her opinion?
I'd love that.
Come on out, Juliet. Juliet, dear, it's been a while. How are you? You're not funny.
Juliet, my sweetheart, please be nice.
Don't call me that. I'm not your sweetheart. Juliet, did you hear all of the wonderful things Paris said about you? Yes, and it doesn't change my decision at all. So even after everything he said, you still refuse to marry him? Are you deaf? That's what I just said, Jerry. Yes, I know, Juliet. My mind just can't comprehend how you would rather be kicked out of your house, disowned from your family, and lose absolutely everything in your possession than marry this wonderful man, Paris. It's not Paris. You really, truly are a wonderful man, Paris, and some lady will be very lucky to marry you someday. But that's not me. I feel that there is someone else out there that I need to find myself, but I'm only 13 right now. I don't want to focus on looking for a husband. I want to have fun. When the right time comes, I will happily marry the right person. But for right now, I am not looking to be married, especially not to someone who was chosen for me. I'm very sorry, Paris.
I understand your reasons, Juliet. I totally get what you're saying. But many girls your age are getting married, some of which are even mothers. And if you wait too long, you're going to have a hard time finding a single man, let alone one who's as compatible as I am to you.
Paris is very right there. Juliet, I too understand exactly why you don't want to marry Paris. It's a scary thing being married, and it's a big deal. You spend the rest of your life with that person. You share everything, and you even raise children together. But it's going to happen eventually, most likely in the next few years, and you have a perfectly suitable man right in front of you. You should take the opportunity while you have it. I could find another man in the next few years who is even more suitable for me than Paris. I'm sure of it. My opinion is that when the person who you are meant to be with comes into your life, you will know that they are the one. I want to experience the true love people talk about in stories, but I can't have that if the person was chosen for me. How do you know Paris isn't your true love? Because that's just something that a person knows. He doesn't give me that special feeling that you're supposed to get from being in love. You speak as if you have experienced true love before. Oh no, of course I haven't. I'm way too young. I just think that when you are really in love with someone, you will know it. Fair enough. Paris, do you believe that Juliet is your true love?
I thought she was. I really did. But after hearing the way she speaks about true love, maybe she isn't. Maybe there is someone out there who would be more suitable for myself.
Oh, Juliet, now you've even talked Paris out of the marriage. I'm okay with that. That's what I've been saying the whole time. There's a much better girl than me out there for Paris. He just has to find her. Do you believe this, Paris?
I might. I'm not sure. She's got me confused now.
What are you confused about?
Well, I still believe that Juliet is a lovely young woman. But how can I marry someone who doesn't love me back? How could I marry someone who doesn't want to marry me?
Would you still be willing to marry Juliet?
Of course I would. I wouldn't dare back out now. That would break poor Capulet's heart.
Perhaps Capulet has changed his mind after hearing all of this. I think it's time to bring him back out, so hopefully Juliet and her father can resolve their issues. Thank you for sharing your side of the story, Paris. It was nice speaking with you.
I truly hope they will resolve their issues. Nice speaking with you as well, Jerry. Lovely as always to see you, beautiful Juliet.
Come on out, Capulet. Nice to see you again, Capulet. How are you feeling after everything that has been said here today?
First of all, I would like to apologize to all of you, and specifically to my daughter, Juliet, for the way I acted earlier. It was very childish of me, and I'm deeply sorry.
Thank you for that, Capulet. Now, how do you feel about the marriage?
When I came here earlier today, I was not willing to even hear Juliet's reasons for not wanting to marry Paris. I even threatened to kick her out of the house. I was not being a very good father. After listening to her reasoning, listening to Paris speak about it, and hearing the way they speak with each other, I understand Juliet's reasons.
Are you saying you're not going to force this marriage anymore?
I'm no longer going to force the marriage upon Juliet. At least, not right now. If she feels like she is too young at the moment and wants to have a chance to find someone else, then I will give her the time to do so, as well as Paris. I don't want Paris to feel forced into the marriage either. He can have freedom to find someone else as well.
I think this is a very fair decision. What happens if neither one of them finds anyone?
Then they'll marry each other. By then, I'm sure they'll actually want to marry each other if they don't have anyone else.
Is there a time limit on how long they have to find someone else to marry?
No limit. Of course, they will have to marry sometime in the next few years, however, if they plan on starting a family.
That sounds like an excellent plan. You're a smart man, Capulet. I would assume that you are no longer going to kick Juliet out of the house?
Of course not. She is and always will be welcome in our home.
Oh, thank you, Father. Thank you so much. Thank you for understanding. I am so sorry for the way I acted.
I too am sorry, Juliet. I said some horrible things I should not have said. I'm very glad we came here today.
Oh, of course I forgive you, Father. I'm so glad to. Thank you so much for your help, Jerry.
Yes, thank you, Jerry.
I too am very glad you two were able to work everything out. It was no problem at all. That's what I'm here for. It was great speaking with you.
Great speaking with you too, Jerry.
This concludes our show for today. Have a good night, everyone.